to ask yourself the question, why not? Because you don't want to stop yourself from experiencing something that can spark a whole nother era of your life. And it's your life, it's your storybook, and you just don't know what the next chapter holds until you give yourself the grace to experience something new. And welcome to my channel. I've always wanted to say that, and today's the day that I got to say it. And that's because the whole premise of today's video is just start. Just start the thing you're passionate about, the hobby that you've always wanted to try, the book club you always wanted to go to. This is just a very positive encouragement to just start the thing you've always wanted to do. But before we get into all that, into our girl chat, I just want to do a quick introduction. Hi, I'm Desiree, and I'm so happy you could all join me today. And also, a little shout out to my first video. And yeah, so it's just positive vibes. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Okay, so you know that saying, what if it turns out better than you can even imagine? Well, that is the #1 question you should be asking yourself when you're debating about doing something that excites you. And don't get me wrong, I get it. For all my overthinking girlies, when it comes to actually making things happen, sometimes you want to think about the who, the what, the when, where, why. Sometimes you really gotta take a step back and think, what's the worst that can happen? I know that sounds really crazy, but if the idea excites you or it's something that you've always wanted to do, you gotta kind of ask the question, well, why not? You can really do anything you put your mind to. It's really just having that open and honest conversation with yourself. You need to believe in yourself, take little steps and actionable steps to close the gap between where you want to be and where you're currently at, and then fill that in. And then before you know it, you'll start making progress because you're taking the steps. You're taking the step that's going to lead you somewhere. And you don't want to stop yourself from allowing yourself to have an experience. Because you don't know what experience is going to end up unlocking who you're truly meant to become. And don't even get me started about the imaginary scenarios and the fake scenarios that you end up conjuring in your head. And they haven't even happened, okay? They're just thoughts and processes that your brain are coming up with because you're kind of freaked out. But are you really going to stop yourself from doing something you might potentially love just because you're scared? Think about that. Now, I'm here to tell you all of these emotions that you're feeling are completely normal and they're completely okay. But you should definitely not allow yourself to stop something that you're excited about just because you're scared. Don't allow yourself to get in your own way. Now, I'm here to tell you all these feelings and these emotions that you don't know what to do with are very, very, as you say, normal. I know it sounds weird, but it's really normal to feel a little psyched out in the beginning of starting something new. You definitely want to start that passion, that hobby, or that thing that you're very much interested in. You want to think about it in the sense of, is it safe for you? Is it hurting anybody? Do you think it'll bring you joy? Do you think it'll increase positivity in your life? Basically, is it going to add value to your life? I think that's a very big thing that I want to emphasize, is that is it adding value and positivity to your life? Is it going to allow you an experience that will help you grow? And this is my first video I've ever made, and I'm super excited about it. I've never done it. I've always wanted to do this, and now I don't know, it's happening. It's happening. And it's just a different feeling when you just decide to start something. You don't know where it's going. You don't know where it'll lead you. But taking the first step and doing something is just giving you more confidence for yourself, but also proving to yourself that you can do it. Because you can do it. You can do anything you really put your mind to do. And I think as people, we overcomplicate things. We sometimes make it harder than it actually has to be. First, you need to be honest with yourself, okay? Have a really serious conversation with yourself. And then you need to also think about it in the perspective of, is this going to be something that adds value to my life? And then after that, you need to do some research and figure out the criteria, the requirements of things, and then you need to make a list and a plan and follow through with actionable steps they can do to make what you're interested in come to life. You have to start asking yourself questions instead of, what if it goes wrong? What if it goes right? Instead of, man, I wonder if they're gonna like me. You have to say, man, I wonder if I like them. You have to almost flip-flop it every single time your brain starts going into a negative spiral and reflect it onto yourself in the sense of, How am I feeling about a situation? Do I even like this situation? And at the end of the day, if you shift your mind and you start thinking, as long as I tried my best, I'm happy. As long as I poured everything I possibly could into whatever this thing was, I'm happy because I can walk away knowing that I tried my absolute best. And what more can you ask from yourself if you tried your best at something? It all starts with you. It all starts with your mind. And you can control your mind into thinking and behaving how you want it to. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I never said that it was an easy task. But really learning to cultivate your mind and to making it a positive and safe space for yourself is so important. Because once you make that fortitude in your mind of positivity and learning to restructure it, seeing opportunity for yourself in every situation will make life so much more peaceful for yourself. And it almost becomes not like a bad game, but a game that you want to play. A game where it's like, well, why not allow myself to experience this thing? It could be fun. Well, why not allow myself to have this experience that could help me grow into a better person? It's constantly taking the prerogative of something that is negative or could deem negative and flipping it to being something positive of a why not allow myself to grow? Why not allow myself to experience? Why not allow myself to enjoy this hobby that could end up making me super happy? I've also realized as a side note that it takes a lot more pressure off life if you allow yourself to just exist and experience in space, in the sense of just allowing yourself to cultivate yourself and to allow yourself to not be perfect. Allow yourself to be uniquely you. Allow yourself to be unique in your own way and not have to conform to any necessarily way that it should be done. Allowing yourself to almost like playing with Legos in a room. Say like when you're a kid and there's like tons of Legos out in like, I don't know, like a playground. We'll just say a playground. And there's tons of building blocks. You can build whatever castle you want to, any house, any building. No one's necessarily telling you how to build it. Sure, you could see another kid on the opposite side of the playground building a fort, and it doesn't necessarily have to be exactly like their fort. You're just starting with your own Lego blocks and allowing yourself to experience and allowing yourself to fail. If your blocks fall over, that's okay. You can try again. If your blocks are all wanting to be one color or multicolored, or you want to actually make a moat, you can do whatever you want with your Lego blocks. There is no necessarily way to do it. You know, you have to take the extra pressure off of like life and just allow yourself to play, allow yourself to experience, allow yourself to start from scratch at times if you need to, or just to get organized with your blocks. You can do whatever you want with your blocks. It's your life, and allowing yourself to experience is super important. Allow yourself, like, even if you're a teenager, a kid, an adult, or you know, at every stage of life, you're constantly growing. You're constantly learning. Your blocks are changing. It's a metaphor, but this is your life, and allowing yourself to experience and give yourself grace to explore is important. And that's why I feel like it's really important for people to just start the something they've always wanted to start, because a lot of times we get so freaked out because we're scared we're going to fail. But allow yourself to fail. Allow yourself to have that experience that, okay, it might not work out, but then again, it could. See what I'm talking about? The positive shift? It could be a great thing. And the weird thing is, even failing is a great thing. You allowed yourself an experience to fail. You allowed yourself the experience to try. And that's one of the beautiful and biggest gifts you could ever give yourself. Giving yourself the okay that sometimes people never gave them. Sometimes people never, like their parents or whoever, or their boss, never allowed them to be okay with quote unquote failure. So give that to yourself. Give it to yourself to say, okay, it's okay that I failed. I'm going to try again. Or I can take the experiences from learning from my mistakes, and now I know what to do better for next time. Or I can know something's not for you. Because, oh, actually, we're going to talk about that. Like, rewind. There's typically 3 things that can end up happening when you allow yourself an experience. Number 1, you realize it's not really for you. The experience, like whatever it is, you realize it wasn't for you, whether that was surfing or you decided to try, I don't know, pottery. You realize the experience was not for you, but you learned something about yourself, and now you can check it off your bucket list that, hey, maybe the thing's not for you. Okay, number 2, you end up absolutely loving the thing that you've always wanted to do. You absolutely loved whatever it is that you allowed yourself to experience. And the funny thing is, you build trust within yourself when you allow yourself to try something new, to go out and explore, because it builds trust within, like, wow, I really did that. And it almost like levels you up, because you're like looking at yourself like, not with your chest out, but like, you know, chest puffed out, like, wow, I did that. And number 3, you realize you're just about it. Okay, I think we forget that. Sometimes you can just do an experience and you could not hate it. You could not love it. You're just like in between. You're kind of floating. You kind of like the experience, but you wouldn't go back, you know? It's kind of like if you just went to a restaurant and you ended up trying the food and you're like, you know, I'm happy I went here because I got to eat, but I wouldn't necessarily round back for the food. You know, I wouldn't round back for the restaurant, but I'm happy I got to go to it, you know? So you're just in between the feelings of just in between. And that's okay too. You still learn from that experience, because you're not going to sit there pondering about it anymore because you got your answer. If you sit down and you really start breaking it down, there are 3 options that could happen. 1, you don't like it. 2, you love it. 3, you're just about it, but you got to end up checking it off your list and moving on with your life. And you're going on to the next thing, allowing yourself to continue to build with your new Lego blocks, or realize you don't like those and you kick them out. Like, you just keep it going. And that's the thing about life. It's like this weird poetry, poem, song. You're just constantly changing different lyrics, or you're writing new ones. It's a beautiful story if you allow it to be. It's a beautiful song, beautiful poem if you allow it to be. So just don't overcomplicate it. Just start with the first step. And then after the first step, multiple steps will follow and you'll get a beautiful pace. Now, I'm not going to say everything when it comes to just starting will be easy. Different things require different actions. Different things require different steps. But that shouldn't stop you from starting something if you're truly passionate about it. And I am your friend over here just saying, do it. Do the thing that you're passionate about. Do the thing you've always had a passion or interest in. Do the thing that is just going to make you super excited and light up about, that you can end up laughing about later, or ends up starting this whole new journey for yourself. This is just me telling you, if you needed a sign or encouragement to get out there and really just allow yourself to explore life, to explore the things you've always wanted to do the hobby, to try out for the team, to start the business. Just start the thing that you've always wanted to do. And it doesn't matter how far you feel like you're behind, or how far that you feel like it's just impossible for you. The first step is the hardest, because you're breaking the uncomfortability sector. You're breaking the normalcy of your own life, because you're doing something out of your character. You're doing something out of your, I don't want to say character, maybe doing something outside of your comfort zone. That's better. You're doing something outside of your comfort zone, something you're not necessarily doing every Tuesday. But it's a beautiful thing to start building that trust with you, and also makes life more exciting for you, because you're getting used to allowing yourself action. You're allowing yourself to get used to pivoting. Now, I know this sounds crazy when you're first starting off, because when you're first starting off, you're overwhelmed, you don't know what you're doing, but I'm just going to give a reminder to enjoy the process as you go. Enjoy the journey as you go and the steps that you take, because before you know it, if we're going back to the Lego or the block analogy, you're building your tower, and at the end of it, you're going to be done and you're going to step back and be like, wow, I built that. I completed something. I made something. And then you get to build a whole new tower, and that's like a whole new thing. It's just a constant loop. You can build onto that tower, make a new one, just continue to add to your city, okay? You can do whatever you want. It's your Lego blocks. It's your life, okay? You will slip up from time to time, but to remember to enjoy the experience and to enjoy the process. And with embracing the experience, I'm embracing this experience as my first video and being able to share this experience with you all. And I'm just so excited. I hope you guys can all feel my vibes and my like positivity and just allowing myself the first step. And hopefully this is encouraging on both ends of just allowing yourself to take the first step and embrace the journey and truly see where it takes you, because it's a beautiful song that you get to write. Also, I want to encourage everyone to be bold, be beautiful, and blissfully lost in this journey together. And I'll see you guys all in the next one.